So you've got that big trip coming up with your old buddies from college, and there's email chain going back and forth. Tom and Jim, they're talking about how good of gamblers there are, and you're thinking, I would like to get a piece of that action. It would be really nice for once to come home from Vegas with more money than I had when I left. So you're thinking, well, maybe card counting and blackjack will offer me my best odds. Well, it will offer you pretty good odds. I'm here to tell you why that isn't as easy as it may seem. They don't build huge casinos in Vegas because they are losing money. That's probably an expression you've heard before, and that rings totally true. See, in gambling, the gambling is set up so the house will always win. There is no game in a casino as it stands without cheating where the player has the advantage. However, blackjack does give you the best odds in the casino. See, in blackjack, the casino only has a 0.5% advantage over the player. Let's compare that 0.5% in blackjack to other games in the casino like craps. Craps only gives a 1.58% advantage to the casino. Not as good as blackjack, but still okay. Roulette, however, gives the casino the advantage of 5.26%. And then lastly is everyone's favorite slot machines that can range anywhere from 10 to 15% advantage to the house. Now, an experienced card counter can take that 0.5% advantage to the house that you're getting in blackjack and can flip that in the means of 0.5 to 1% advantage to the player. Well, that doesn't sound so bad, does it? So now you're thinking, well, I don't want to be the guy in the back alley getting beat up by two dudes who have pulled me out of a casino for cheating. That's not going to happen. Purely, counting cards is not illegal. Counting cards is simply a strategy where you're trying to figure out what's been dealt and what's left in the deck so you know if you have better odds against the dealer or not. See, the overall goal is to know how many high cards are left in the deck. The more high cards, the better chance you have of getting a blackjack, and the better odds you have of making the dealer bust. Now, there are tons of systems for counting cards in blackjack, and these are made by people a whole lot smarter than me. But at the root, counting cards is very simple. It's almost binary code, ones, zeros, and minus ones. So let's talk about that. The basic way of counting cards is this. Cards with a face value 2 through 6 are granted a +1 value. Cards 7 through 9 are granted a 0 value. And cards 10 through an ace are granted -1 value. You're counting every card that hits the table, even the dealers. What you want is the count to be higher. When the count is higher, again, more high cards are left in the deck. Now, again, that doesn't sound so hard. You're just counting cards as they're being dealt out. What you have to remember is there's usually 7 people sitting at a blackjack table and the dealer, and this is happening really fast. Anytime that you're slowing the game down, if you're looking at the other player's cards, the casino is going to start to get suspicious. Again, it's not illegal, but the casino can kick you out. They don't have to let you play there. So this takes a lot of time counting cards. You need to be able to do it fast, and it takes years of experience and total focus. Not to mention, casinos has their own way of prohibiting you and countering your card counting. Remember, casinos, they don't like to lose, and they're not in the business of losing money. So some of their countermeasures, there's one of which is facial recognition software. This is a built-in database that a lot of casinos share with one another, and that has facial recognition of those players who have been deemed as card counters before, and they share them amongst casinos. They also have in-house card counting. It's a software that will count cards as they're being dealt out, as you would, and if you start betting in the same trend as the computer would, it'll alert the pit boss. They also employ former card counters to work for security, and that way they can spot people who are counting cards. And lastly, they have auto-shuffling decks. The auto-shuffling decks are made so it shuffles cards after they've been dealt, after the hand is over. They're put back into the shuffler. That way you can never get a true count. So yes, a 5th grader can count +1, -1 is 0, but I think that we can all agree that counting cards is a whole lot more intricate than that.